Hello YouTube and vinyl community, I'm Jeff Paris and welcome to the Vinyl Record Info channel. Today's just going to be a quick video. I'm going to try to start a little mini series within the channel, basically called Vinyl Deep Dive, where I'm just going to pick one interesting record and really deep dive into the pressing and the kind of history behind it and things like that. And I thought the first record that I should do should be an easy one, and because it has just so many little tidbits of history about it, and a lot of people know about it. And so the first record in the Vinyl Deep Dive series is going to be the Velvet Underground Nico. So this record is, it's just iconic at this point. It's especially for record collectors, it's one, it's rare to find an original press of it. And two, there's so much history behind it, very interactive, sleeve and the different pressings. It's a really cool collector's item at this point. And then on top of that, the music is really, really good. I mean, this is, think like probably, it's a super experimental, but it's like, people say that it's the beginnings of punk. And, it's a really good record. Certainly not appreciated back in 1967, but it is really good. And it eventually got it to do. So a little bit of history about it. So Velvet Underground and Nico. Nico was a German model and singer, and she got brought on just to do this record with them. Andy Warhol is obviously a very prominent figure in this. He was the band's manager, producer of the record, along with Tom Wilson, who used to work at Columbia and then later ended up working at Verve. It's debated how much Andy Warhol really had a part in this, with the exception of the print, the cover, and basically paying for the studio session. It seems like Tom Wilson was probably kind of the main real producer in that. But this copy right here, this is, I'm like super pumped to have it. This is an original West Coast mono, which I'll talk about here in a second. But it's original West Coast mono, and it's a torso cover. Okay, now I'll talk about this, why having a torso cover is super interesting. And I'm also very lucky because, this cover typically has a banana on it, which I'll get into. And I still got a little potassium left. Look at that. there's a little bit there. So it's not fully peeled, and we got some banana left on there. But yeah, so basically Andy Warhol did the print of this. It was very expensive. They'd use special machines to do the banana on there. But basically, if you had a full one, it'd be a full banana with the peel all the way up here. And at the top says, peel slowly and see. So a lot of people, when they got this record, they would peel slowly and see, and there was a pink banana underneath. So it was just kind of a cool thing. Getting a, original torso cover with the full banana, at this point we're talking $2,000, $2,500. These just get more expensive every single year. They're just going up in price. They're getting crazy. They're getting absolutely crazy. I'm lucky that I got this one at a really good deal. If you didn't know what this record was about, or the history behind it, and you just saw this, you're like, that's a trashed record. Why is that worth a lot? But as far as these go, I'm pretty happy with this. To have a mono, or to have a torso cover and a little bit of potassium on there, I'm pretty happy with it, to be honest with you. And I'm not gonna spend $2,000 on a one that has the full banana on it. But yeah, so like I said, produced by Andy Warhol and Tom Wilson. It came out in March 1967. Basically, Andy Warhol also like showcased the Velvet Underground during his Exploding Plastic Inevitability tour, which is basically it was like a multimedia art thing, but the Velvet Underground played at all those shows. That's actually where this photo was taken, was during one of those events. They call it EPI for short, like an EPI festival, but it was put on by Andy Warhol, and that's where that photo was taken. And when this first came out in 1967, nobody liked it. Nobody really got it. It was very experimental. Brian Eno, who's like a very famous UK music producer, he later on wanted to say that only 30,000 people bought this record, but all 30,000 of them started a band. You know, it's out there a little bit. It's good though. It is really, really good. And I think nowadays people accept it and think it's good music. I like it a lot. And you know, it was on Rolling, I think, not the latest iteration of Rolling Stone's Top 500, but last time's. It made the top 500 most influential records of all time, and it was number 13. So just to give you a little background, obviously it influenced a ton of people to start bands. And when you get this record, you're just buying a part of history. I mean, the Andy Warhol print, and and then I'll get into the back cover, I guess. So basically, there's two major lawsuits surrounding this record. One is Eric Emerson. So he's a little tough to see, but that's his face right here. He's upside down. He's doing a handstand. So not this guy, but look right above this guy's face. Boom. You see another guy? Here's his arms going down. So he's upside down doing a handstand. So basically, during that EIP event, they had like a projector in the background of the band, and it was this guy doing a handstand, and they just took the picture, thought it was a cool picture. But that is an actor named Eric Emerson. Now, Eric Emerson was not a very successful actor, and he had a really, really bad drug problem. So he sued the band, and he sued Verve. And he's like, I want money for using my image likeness. And they're like, no, we'd rather just recall them all. So they recalled all the records. So instead of paying them, they recalled all the records and either destroyed them or put a black band sticker over the top of this. So like another version of the original you can get, it has a big black sticker over it. It just has the band name. And then the subsequent presses, this is airbrushed out. So it's still the same picture, just the background's airbrushed, which is a very quick way to know whether or not you have an original press or not. Is it airbrushed or not? Because the original presses either have a sticker or you can see Eric Emerson. And then the second lawsuit was a much newer one. It's from 2012. Basically, the band Velvet Underground sued Andy Warhol's estate for the use of the record, basically. Because he was the manager, producer, and did the art and everything. There was, they couldn't reproduce it without his approval, and so subsequent pressings had to print it, or just a printed banana, like you couldn't peel it or anything. But anyways, Velvet Underground sued Andy Warhol's estate to make money off the record, and basically they settled the case out of court where Andy Warhol's estate it's kind of strange, but they maintained ownership, I guess, but they made like a legal promise within the court that whoever uses it, they will not sue. So, kind of a win for, the Velvet Underground, but it's just kind of a weird thing, but it worked out for everybody, I guess. And then the last part that I wanted to cover real quick is the pressing. So this is what the label looks like. It's on Verve. They sent a test pressing out to all kinds of different labels. They all said no. They didn't like the drug talk, the theme of the songs. They thought it was too far out, too weird. So everybody passed. Columbia, you know, Atlantic, all of them passed. Verve ended up taking. Verve is actually more of a, you know, jazz type label, but they picked them up. And so basically, there's two types. You got the monos and stereos, obviously, but you have the West Coast and East Coast pressings. And the way you can tell, like for example, this is a West Coast mono, is because the labels, like side 1, side 2, is A and then B. Okay, you can see right there, it's B. On the East Coast pressings, it's 1 and 2. So that's just a super quick way that you can look at the label, tell if it's an East Coast or West Coast pressing, just right off the rip. If it's an A and B side, you got a West Coast. If it's a 1 and 2 side 1, side 2, got yourself an East Coast pressing. So, yeah, so I mean, super great record. Highly suggest that you pick up a reissue, you know, or if you got $2,500, get yourself a nice one with a banana, or you can get lucky, like I did. I just got lucky with this one. So yeah, that's the Velvet Underground and Nico, and I just wanted to kick off the series with a cool record like that, and I'll do another one probably next week. But yeah, I want to keep these kind of going. So again, please hit the thumbs up button on it, subscribe to the channel, please tell your friends, and see you next time. Thanks.